Hi, these comments are for MM. This is Michael from Better, TOEFLscores.com, and I want to make a few comments on the writing practice test that you sent me yesterday. And by the way, I hope that you and your family have a happy New Year 2023. Okay, so I read the essay. I'm thinking you're probably in the 3 range for a couple of reasons. We have what's called inconsistent facility and sentence formation. We have accurate but limited range of syntactic structures and vocabulary. So the actual essay is right here. This is what you wrote. So we have what's the most important characteristic a person can have to be successful. So you said self-confidence and intelligence. The first thing I would do is I would probably pick one of those ideas instead of talking about both. For example, let's say that you think self confidence is important. Say the most important characteristic is self confidence. Then maybe explain 3 reasons why you think it's important and then organize each reason in its own developing paragraph. That'll give you a little bit more focus and what's called depth and complexity to your ideas. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So I want to look at 2 things here. I think to help you grow as a writer and to become more proficient and to improve your writing score, you need a little bit better control over your sentence formation and you need what's called syntactic variety. I think that you can lengthen the sentences that you are using. I'll show you how to do that, at least one example. Notice how your average words per sentence here is 18.5 and your characters per word is 4.7. Your grade level is 10.3. It would be better if your grade level were closer to, say, 13 or 14. So let's take a look at your writing. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is called comma splices. So what is a comma splice? This is something that you have a lot of trouble with. So basically, a comma splice, you're joining subject plus verb, comma, and then subject plus verb again. So you're combining 2 different sentences or 2 independent clauses with a comma. For example, this would be an example of a comma splice. I went to the store, comma, I needed to buy some bread. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in your writing in just a minute. But there's different ways of correcting this. So let's take a look at different ways. I'm going to give you 3 ways to correct a comma splice. Number 1, you can simply put a period at the end of the first sentence, right? The problem is you end up with really short sentences there, but you could do it that way. But keep in mind that your sentence length is already really low, so given that context, I don't think that's the best solution for you. But how about this one? You have, I went to the store, maybe. You can put, because I needed to buy some bread. So you could use that subordinated conjunction to connect the 2 different sentences together. But when you do this, you've now changed kind of the structure of the 2 sentences. You now have an independent clause with a dependent clause, which is what you see here. This is probably your best choice, especially given the fact that you have a lot of shorter sentences in your writing. Now, number 3, if you find yourself where you're not using semicolons a lot and you think you need to put one in there, you could do that. So you could take the comma splice you see here, you could correct it in 1 of 3 ways. Now let's take a look at your writing. So how do I know the first one is a comma splice? You say, no doubt, the answer is a definite no. Otherwise, far more people nowadays would become successful in life really fast. So we have an independent clause here, and we have another independent clause here. So no doubt the answer is definite. No. So you could probably use because here, and that would straighten out that error. So that's one way to do it. Okay, let's look at the next one. Furthermore, self-confidence is not less important. It allows you to act. So you have the same issue. You have independent clause plus independent clause. So you have self-confidence is not less important. How about in as much as? Instead of saying it, you could put this character. So self-confidence is not less important in as much as this character trait allows you to act. So then you can combine those two sentences. Again, you're using in as much as to kind of show a cause-effect relationship there. So we've corrected that one. So we fixed that one. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm just giving you an idea of, it's actually quite easy to correct comma splices. It's not a major issue. You just need to be aware of what they are and how you can change your writing. So you say, such people are never noticed in the crowd by potential employers. They never ask the person they're attracted to on a date. They put their lives on pause and wait for someone attentive to see them. So in this case, what if we take independent clause 1, combine it with independent clause 2, and then maybe put a coordinating conjunction right after independent clause 2, so you're kind of creating items in a series. So such people are never noticed in the crowd by potential employers. They never ask the person they're attracted to on a date. And then maybe put this. And they put their lives on pause and wait for someone attentive to see them. So as long as you put that coordinating conjunction right after the second independent clause, you no longer have that comma splice. So we have now corrected that particular error. So that's what we could do there. Okay, let's look at the last one here. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about syntactic variety. For example, I never really had a self-confident classmate. He was not very bright. However, he was truly successful. So again, because you say however is not successful, and you combine that independent clause with the previous sentence, that creates a comma splice. So how about this? I had a really self-confident classmate. We can change he to who is not very bright, and then however we can change it to but to create that a compound sentence, but he was truly successful. And then we can say something like in that he always answered, and because you have a regular verb there loudly and you want to put clearly in the classroom, even when it was obvious that he was saying something he made up 5 seconds ago. Right? So that's how you can change that sentence to create a little bit better syntactic variety. And if you notice, what we did here is we now have a sentence which is about 45 words long, and if you use those every now and then, that helps raise the educational level of your writing quite a bit by doing that. Okay, so in conclusion, I'm thinking with your essay, I'm going to put you between about 22 and 24 points. I think according to the TOEFL IBT rubrics, as I said, you have a few inconsistencies with your sentence structure, and you have some limitations, I think, with your syntactic varieties. So if you can make changes in both of those areas, especially here by eliminating comma splices, and then be careful about using unnecessarily a large number of what we call shorter sentences shorter than 20 words, I think you can do much better on the TOEFL writing section of the test. All right, and thank you for completing this practice test.